Michael was finally taking his dream road trip. He had been planning it for months, and now he was ready to hit the open road. He had been saving money and planning out his route, and he was sure that this would be the trip of a lifetime. The first few days of his journey were filled with excitement and adventure. Michael was finally taking his dream road trip. He had been planning it for months, and now he was ready to hit the open road. He had been saving money and planning out his route, and he was sure that this would be the trip of a lifetime. The first few days of his journey were filled with excitement and adventure. He stopped at roadside attractions and visited small towns along the way. But as he continued on his journey, something strange began to happen. Everywhere he went, he would hear faint whispers in the wind. He couldn't make out what they were saying, but they seemed to be calling out to him. The whispers grew louder as he continued on his journey, and soon he began to feel uneasy. He decided to take a break and rest for the night, but the whispers followed him. He tried to ignore them, but they seemed to be getting louder. The next morning, Michael awoke to find himself in a strange, unfamiliar place. He was surrounded by a thick fog, and the whispers had grown even louder. He knew he was in trouble and he had no idea how to get out. He stumbled forward, hoping to find some sort of help, but instead he found himself in an old cemetery. He wandered around the cemetery for what felt like hours, and then he heard a voice. It was a man's voice, and he said, "Michael, I am the one who has been calling you. You must come with me." Michael followed the voice and soon found himself standing in front of an old mausoleum. The voice told him to enter, and he reluctantly obliged. Inside the mausoleum, Michael was met with a horrific sight. There were dozens of skeletons, all in various states of decay. He soon realized that these were the remains of previous travelers who had taken the same road trip he was on. They had all been lured in by the same whispers, and now they were doomed to wander the mausoleum forever. Michael was filled with terror and despair, and he knew he had to escape. He frantically searched the mausoleum for a way out, but he could find none. He was about to give up hope when he heard a noise coming from one of the skeletons. It was the voice of the man who had called him in. He said, "Michael, I can help you. If you promise to never take this road trip again, I can free you from this place." Michael immediately agreed, and the man granted him his freedom. As he left the mausoleum, he realized that the man had been a spirit, and the souls of the other travelers were trapped in the mausoleum for eternity.